The most dangerous thing that you can ever do for your marriage is believe that you're perfect and the other person is a problem. Because if you do, that means your marriage is on life support. Can you come? Let's have that conversation today. Hi, good people. Welcome to this channel. My name is Ndung'u. It is always a privilege to have you join us. I know the hook got you right, but it's true. We are going to talk about that in a while. But before that, I want you to run to Amazon and go and search for a book written Beyond the Vows by Ndung'u. That man has been blessed by the Lord to have the wisdom to write even in our difficult moments of our marriage. And I want you to go and read that book because it is an example of some of the challenges that people go through in marriage and how God has carried us through it. I won't say here, I won't confess nowhere that we are over the season, but I will say we are in a better place. And God has been faithful and God has been carrying us, and I thank Him because of the grace that He has given us. So kindly go get that book, learn, okay? Learn, read, study. I know that there are people who love to read. That is an amazing book to read in the darkest seasons of your marriage because God will really lift you. God really used Him to speak to us, and I know that that book will be amazing and it will be transformative for you and even for your marriage. And if you are in a bad place like we were, then God will also help you journey that place, using the wisdom that is written in that book. Thank you so much. Let's get now back to the video. As I was saying, the worst thing that can ever happen to your marriage is you believing you're perfect and the other person is the problem. Because once you do that, guess what? Number one, no growth will be there, no change, no transformation. You just want to be the same old you. Since the beginning of time until now, you don't want to change and you prefer that there be violence in your home because by the way, I'm not changing who I am. That is who I am, and I am perfect just the way I am. And if the man cannot handle me, if the woman cannot handle the way I am, then akwende. That is a problem and it is a lie from the pit of hell. Today I'm going to talk to us about how the enemy has used that thing of perfection to affect most of our marriages. And this is why. When you think that you're perfect, you have no room to improve yourself. You have no room to listen to advice. You have no room to listen to complaints probably that have been given to you by your spouse. And you have no room to change because at the end of the day, I'm perfect. You are the problem. So you are the one who is supposed to figure yourself out. So if you feel like I am really not giving you 100%, you are the problem because you're not seeing what already I am doing. So work on yourself. If you are feeling like I am not giving you enough time, you are the problem. Probably you need to now do something about whatever it is that you're feeling. So when you are always looking at the other person as a problem, you will never have the room to deal with the issues in your marriage, and that is a big problem. Can you see how big that is? If we imagine now both of you are looking at each other as the problem, and no one is willing to change, no one is willing to compromise, everyone is on their own corner saying, I am perfect. That marriage is in ICU. Do you agree with me? Or you're still not in agreement? Can't you not see how bad that is for your marriage? That is why, by the way, some of us are failing in marriage. We are having difficulties in marriage. We are every day. We have something to complain about because the man does this, the woman does this. But you're not sitting somewhere in a place where you're asking yourself, am I probably the reason why that thing is happening to this marriage? Yeah, so you also need to be in a place where you are open to learn and relearn. Because if you're not open to any of the changes in your life, bro, see, don't make marriage and life hard for the other person just because they said yes, I do to you. No, be open to change. I'm gonna have a conversation with you in a minute. Just follow my thinking. You are born, bred, raised, nurtured, everything by different people. They think differently, they have their own way of thinking about life, and then your spouse on this other hand, same, different ways, different approaches, everything differently. So according to him, and the way he has been nurtured for as long as he has been nurtured by the time he's meeting you, and you, the many years you have been nurtured at that particular area with your different lifestyles, all of you are learning something. And according to you, when you're coming into marriage and him, when they are meeting you, they are all perfect. So both of you are perfect. Perfect because irrespective of the challenges they have gone through, irrespective of the challenge you have gone through, all of you have learned to socialize. So you have learned, or you think you have learned, by dealing with the issue. Those that are struggling probably with childhood traumas, those that are struggling with absent parents, those that have daddy issues, those that have money issues, all of you are growing up thinking, I am perfect, I am better, I overcame, I did. And then you come here where you are joined together in a very perfect institution. And this institution is the institution of marriage, where God says, you and you, whole people, come together, form one flesh, carrying all your insecurities and everything that you are coming with, and you're coming into a perfect institution. Mark you, if you continue to see yourself as perfect, you don't know, probably you are one of those ones that deal with daddy issues. You have not dealt with them, and then you have brought a man in your life and you have not overcome your daddy issues. So in the marriage, in your perfection, the man is seeing how you actually have issues of your daddy issues, and probably they might not define them as daddy issues, but they think this girl has issues probably with submission. They look at your life and they're like, this guy, he has issues with being, maybe the mama has a lot of impact on his life. But you see, because there are challenges and maybe that have come, all of you, by the way, all of you, on your corners, you're perfect, right? So if you don't take a step back and be like, okay, in my perfection, I am imperfect for this institution. In my perfection, I am not 100% what this man needs, and I need to work on myself. So when he gives compliments, when he gives complaints, I need to receive them as data, hear what he's saying, learn from them, and improve myself, because I need to be perfect according to the way he feels that this is perfection for him, for us to cohabit and stay together. Are we together? Yeah. So step out of your perfection and look at the issues that are being addressed in your home as things that by then need to be talked about, things that need to be worked on, because you need to put in the work. I will give you an example. I had a conversation of our pastor, and he was talking about how then they are just two imperfect beings in an institution that is perfect, that have made the choice of walking the journey together. What does that tell you? That tells you that these people have accepted the fact that, by the way, you know what, if I was to be qualified as a perfect person for this girl when we met, and even as we continue to journey together, everything will disqualify me, because probably her perspective, what she wants, what she likes, I did not know them, right? But as we journey on, and vice versa for the wife, and as we journey on, I get to know her. I improve probably something that was an issue in our first year of marriage. In the 5th year of marriage, should not be an issue because we have worked on it. And as we continue like that, we deal with it as we journey, because we are trying to make this institution perfect for the two of us, right? If there's something that I feel is an issue for me, I feel like probably the way you handle money is not the way I want money to be handled, or I feel is not the what do I put it, the wise way of dealing with money. If I tell you as an issue, don't be there saying, you have issues, you don't like to give, you're very stingy, or probably this and that. No, listen to this person, understand what this person is saying, then respond and react wisely. I went to a bridal shower a while back when we were having a shower for a friend of mine, and there was one thing that a very wise woman said: know your spouse. But at that particular time, she was very specific, because it's a bridal shower, so we are always talking, we are encouraging the wives on how to carry the husband. So she was like, learn your man, learn your husband, and do your husband. And I'm just going to use that here, but now on a broader perspective, because that thing really touched my spirit. I was like, that is wisdom beyond understanding. What did she mean when she said, learn your spouse and do your spouse? This is what she meant. There are things about your spouse that you will learn every day because you know you have not been living with them, have you? You have not known them for that long, have you? But because of the pheromones and the hormones that you are feeling of the love hormones, you are so blinded. That is why they say love is blind. You are not seeing them before you guys got into marriage. Majority of us take a while longer before we show our real authentic selves because we tunaendelea tukilegeza polepole even as the years go on in marriage. You find that even in 10 years, some of the people do not know each other very well because one person is just relaxing polepole, they are not fully 100% relaxed in the marriage and they are not giving their 100. So you will not know them 100%. So what this lady was trying to tell us was, know that person, know your spouse. What does he like? Does he like you to wake up very early and prepare their breakfast before they go to work? Does he like you taking care of his clothes and ironing and doing that before? Or what does he like? Does he like home cooked meal? Does he like spicy meals? And some of these things are things that you learn about this person, and you learn by, of course, observing. There are foods you will make and the person will be giving you good feedback. They're like, that is good food. I like it. I love the way you did that. And that, you know, that one, that one I'll be doing a bit more because I love that. When you're having conversations in your knowing each other, you are asking each other favorite questions of what is your favorite color, favorite food. So there are things already they tell you. And then there are ways you will see this person behaving when they're coming home from work and they've had a very stressful day and they don't want to talk. And when you ask them, they're telling you, I'm fine. But you can read even from the way they're looking, this person is not okay. And then you tell yourself, by the way, this one is not doing well. And he comes like this a few, maybe close to end month or after we pay the bills, probably because he has spent all the money on bills, and now there are things that he needs to also take care of, and probably he's overwhelmed. And then the more you continue to learn and learn and learn this person, so you can learn by observing, you can learn by asking questions and getting answers, you can learn, by the way, even from non-verbal cues. When this person just looks at you in a particular way and you know there is something they are saying, you know, when you continue to sink and become one flesh. So we were talking about perfectionism, and this is why I am saying it is very important for you to step out of your perfectionism and look at that thing as from a place of, I am perfect, yes, but in this particular institution, if Peter was asked to qualify me as perfect, there are things he will say that will shock even me, because I'll be there looking at him and be, wewe uko na shida wewe. And if you have ever been in that place where you're telling the other person, this one has issues, step back and look at that situation probably where you might find that they are right and you're wrong. And it is not a matter of how right or how wrong the other spouse is. Because I feel like sometimes unknowingly we compete in the marriage. We are trying to show how perfect we are by doing things, and we forget that by the way, this institution is for you to enjoy, to be your full authentic self and to express yourself 100% without criticism, without judgment, because that is how marriage should be for each and every one of us, right? So in that space where things are not going as probably you would expect them to go, you need to step out. The way I'm talking about, just step out of your perfectionism. There was a preacher that was preaching to us, and she was telling us, if you wives, the way you have been complaining about your husband, he doesn't do this well, he does that one that is something that you really find offensive. If that man was also to tell you, or also you go to his meetings where the men talk, he will say things about you, you will be so surprised. And she was telling us, do you think you are the only one struggling in marriage? Do you think you're the only one who are seeing issues? Ask your husband, and he will tell you the things that he has to compromise to make sure that he's staying with you. Because marriage is a choice. It is a daily choice of saying, by the way, this person is not who I expected. He's not what probably I thought he was, but I am willing to make the choice over and over again. And because it is a decision I made, I am willing to go with it. And because I am willing to stay in that decision, what can I do to make it work? It is for me to listen. It is for me to learn. It is for me to actually be willing to see myself as, by the way, someone who does not know. If he says that your ugali is not well cooked, your ugali is not well cooked. In your home, that ugali actually is what they prefer as cooked. But now you have come to a place where this man says, no, that ugali is not yet cooked. Ask them, teach me how you want your ugali to be cooked, because this is how probably as we have been doing it and everyone thinks that it is cooked. Then you are taught, and of course, be open to learning. I had an issue, by the way, with saying, okay, Sawa, this is something probably I don't understand, and you teach me. I had an issue because for me, I was like, I'm perfect. I have been cooking for 28 years. What do you mean that whatever you're telling me I'm cooking is not working? This is how I've been salting food even when you were dating and you are eating and enjoying. So how come now in marriage, 3 years later, you're saying that I put a lot of salt? Heck, it might just be that particular day when you are salting, the salt became too much, or probably the kind of food you're cooking is salty on its own, or the water you're using is salty, so you've added salt, so it becomes super salty. And you're there thinking, no, I can never be wrong. So you are the problem. Relax. It is never that serious. It is you guys. Just sit down, think about the issues that you have and work on them together. Leave the perfectionism to angels, right? You are in a place where you need to make the institution, which is perfect by the way, look perfect, even on the eyes of men and for you. So when you're inside the marriage, be willing to compromise, be willing to learn, be willing to change by the way, because at the end of the day, you cannot be who you are forever. The only person that does not change is God, because He's the Alpha and Omega. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. He doesn't change. But you have the room to change and improve. Because guess what? Whatever you picked from your ex, you cannot bring it to your marriage and expect it to work. Because some of us carry things, that one worked in that relationship. It made that relationship fun. But because the other things that did not work, those ones we will leave aside, we will work with what was working and I bring it into my marriage. Next, the other spouse is also saying, that one did not work with that spouse, with that girlfriend, but I can bring it in my marriage. And all of you are bringing things. But have you asked this person? Okay, you might import by the way and it works. And this other person is actually enjoying whatever you're doing because probably, like the other one, they are somewhat similar. But there are things you bring and they're not fun for this particular spouse. But you're insisting, this thing works because it works. Simulifanya hivi na wase wengine na ika work, even sexual positions. You're like, I used to do that one and it worked. Nimefanya hii na mademu mwingine na inafanya kazi, kwa nini kwako ifanye? It's like preferences are different. So if you import something and it doesn't work, don't be rigid. You're like, hiyo kitu iko sawa, when your issue. No, be like, okay, that does not work for you. I'm sorry. I thought it would, but it doesn't. So what works for you? Help me understand. And then from there, of course, keep building your marriage and your relationship based on everything. It might be sexual. It might be house chores. It might be things around you. It might be everything around you by then needs to have you two sit down and discuss. You're coming from a place where in your marriage, in marriage, relationship was about the house belongs to the woman. They decide everything about the home. In this particular marriage, your husband wants to be part of the process of even the house and choosing furniture and everything. Don't carry things and bring them and say, it doesn't work like that. It works the other way because that is where you're coming from. Be open to change. I will finish by saying, learn your spouse and do your spouse. And second thing, you're not perfect. You are imperfect when your spouse is looking at you. And because we are working on making marriage work, listen, understand from that place of imperfection and correct appropriately depending on the correction that you're getting. And with that, see you on the next vlog. Enjoy your marriage. Love you.